I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This one's going to be UFC France. Renato Moicano taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, an amazing main event. Before we get into breaking down fights, making predictions, we look at my bets on many events. Guys, I've got many events to show you. So guys, starting in order, we've got UFC 306, where I lost 1 unit exactly. I had a big bet on Sean O'Malley, that didn't win. I had a nice bet with Daniel Zellhuber, that one hurt. I had another parlay, that lost. So the only wins were Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ignacio Bahamondes at plus money. So overall, I lost 1 unit exactly. Now Contender Series Week 6. This was a nice betting event for the Money City team. We cashed Benjamin Bennett plus money. We cashed Ateba at plus money. We also cashed Hassan Zada at minus 150. So only one losing bet on Contender Series Week 6. So we get back all of our money on 306 and more. Then we had a cross-promotion parlay with Georges in PFL, who got a round 1 stoppage. And we had that parlayed with Makhmud Muradov, who, you know, dominated Scott Askham. Complete domination. So that was a nice win with our cross-promotion parlay. And yeah, that's just over half a unit. Now, Cage Warriors 177, that was a loss. That parlay was a loss. So that's 0.75. Ollie got a nice win. Round 1 inside 60 seconds. But Riri Hudson, a low level women's mixed martial arts. Hey, we'll come back to that. We'll come back. Now, this is where the weekend with no UFC really got good. We had a boxing lineup. We had a phenomenal boxing lineup. And the lineup was really made with Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dynamite Dubois at crazy odds. We cashed that. We bet that. Yes, guys, we put our money on Daniel Dubois when the whole world is saying AJ this, AJ that. Hey, the Money City team, we put our money on Daniel Dubois. That's where we put our money. I'm just saying. And we also cashed Josh Kelly. So only one loss with boxing. That's just under 2 units profit on boxing. Then we go to Octagon 61, where we had Ronnie Paradisa with a Muay Thai striker. And that's another win. That's a nice win. Minus 103. Then we had Contender Series Week 7, where we had 3 bets, won 2 of them, and the 2 that we won, they were plus money. So guys, on Contender Series this season, we've lost 1 week. We've made 16 bets on Contender Series this season. We've won 12. Need I say more? Need I say more? If you want to get my bets for UFC France, patreon.com/UFCGA. I'm not even bringing in the Discord. You know, I'm showing you all my results. But guys, add a Discord to that. Oh yeah, guys, and by the way, I said I'll come back to low-level women's mixed martial arts. Alexia Tainara, plus money last night. Hey, I learned. I bet on Riri Hudson as a nice favourite, right? It's low-level women's mixed martial arts. Then we get presented with another low-level women's mixed martial arts matchup. Hey, I learned. I took the plus money. No matter what, I took the plus money, and it worked. And closing, she's like minus 170 closing. So yeah. Guys, let's go. Now, guys, first matchup on the card, we've got Bolaji Oki taking on Chris Duncan. And in this matchup here, when you look at Chris Duncan, he's defensively very bad. Like, looking at Chris Duncan, man, the defensive striking is just not too good. Even thinking back to the Contender Series, you know, when he dusted Charlie Campbell, that fight there, you know, he was getting dusted in that fight. Finds a massive right hand, puts down Charlie Campbell. But for the whole time, defensively, Chris Duncan just looked, you know, there needs to be improvements in the defense, put it that way. Now, when you look at Bolaji Oki, yes, there's times where, you know, he's trying to set up the big power punches. And at times when you're trying to find that big knockout punch, that big power punch, you can kind of, you know, drop behind on the output. You're not scoring. The judges are watching you, but they're watching you trying to knock out the opponent. And when you don't knock out the opponent, you're missing the target. You're finding the air. So at times, Bolaji Oki, you know, he's just looking for one thing. He's looking for a knockout. But against someone like Chris Duncan, someone that, you know, like I say, defensively, he's not that good. Against someone like that, Bolaji Oki may find it. And guys, we're also looking at Chris Duncan against Manuel Torres. He got dusted. He's never lost 2 in a row. But this may be the first time. So guys, the first prediction is going to be Bolaji Oki to find a KO stoppage. Like I say, Chris Duncan's defense is just not that good. So give me Bolaji. Now moving into a matchup between Nora Cornolle taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And we saw Cavalcanti recently, right? We saw her use the jab. We saw her use that footwork. And I mentioned in that breakdown, the footwork and the jab of Cavalcanti. That's going to be the reason as to why she wins that fight against Josiane Nunes. But against Nora Cornolle, this is a different style of fighter, a different style of striker. Nora Cornolle, she's more about Muay Thai. And Josiane Nunes, you know, very aggressive, walks you down. Nunes tries to stay in the pocket, right, in that tight range where those big punches are landing. But Nora Cornolle, she's more about Muay Thai. So potentially, Nora Cornolle's going to clinch up, look for elbows in the clinch, look for knees in the clinch. Even little trips, Muay Thai trips to the mat, where potentially she's not going to have a disadvantage on the mat. And there shouldn't really be much of an advantage either because they're both strikers. They both want to stay on the feet. If you look at Jacqueline Cavalcanti, she put on a nice masterclass in footwork. You know, the footwork against Josiane Nunes. She does this fight in, fight out. You know, always staying active with the feet. Light feet. The feet are never stationary. That's Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Now, if she can do that on short notice against a Muay Thai striker, Nora Cornolle, stay away from the fence. No knees in the clinch. No elbows in the clinch. If she can just, you know, use her style, footwork, jab, 1-2, allow the opponent to walk into the right hand counter of Jacqueline Cavalcanti, it's really good. But also the Muay Thai striking skill set of Nora Cornolle is proven to be very decent. You know, she's an underdog in her last fight and an underdog in her UFC debut. So, yeah, man. Nora Cornolle, Muay Thai striking skill set against the boxing, against the footwork of Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Give me the Portuguese fighter. Give me Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I like the footwork. I like the boxing. I like the right hand. I also like the Muay Thai of Nora Cornolle. It's a good fight. But for me personally, guys, I'm going to side with Cavalcanti. The right hand counter. That's a real weapon. She's got to throw it more though. You know, she's kind of low output a little bit. She tries to fight more safe rather than trying to actually stop the opponent. So in a way, Cavalcanti kind of fights not to lose than trying to fight to win, in a way. But that can be worked on. You know what I'm saying? That can be worked on. So yeah, give me Cavalcanti. Now moving into a matchup here between Barez taking on Victor Altamirano. And this one's going to be good. This one's going to be very fun. Now Barez, he lost on the contender. It's a split decision for Carlos Hernandez. Then he fought, who was it? Filio in the debut, right? He nearly dusted Filio. He nearly dusted that guy. But then Filio recovers, gets him to the mat, and this, you know, it's a dusteration for Barez. You know what I'm saying? But Barez, man, the boxing's good. The boxing is actually very good. You look at him on the contender, the hands are sharp. The hands are very sharp. It's good technique, it's good speed. And I like Barez, man. But so far, you know, he's kind of getting unlucky. On the contender, split decision loss against Filio. That's nearly a big upset win. Nearly. But it wasn't to be. Now you're looking at Victor Altamirano. This guy's very... How do I describe Victor Altamirano? He's kind of lazy. When you're looking at his striking defense, the way he moves his feet, he just looks a little bit lazy. Or it might be his style is just awkward. It may be that. But it just looks, you know, the cardio, it kind of fades. You get a round in, he's already tired. He's defensively bad, he's hittable. His feet aren't really moving. I don't like Victor Altamirano, I'm not going to lie. But I do think he's scrappy. I do think he's tough. I do think the experience that he's got so far is, you know, it's potentially going to help him get better. He may be improving. Now, against someone like Barez, someone that has the sharp boxing, the very fast hands, against someone like that, I'm going to side with the underdog. I'm going to side with Barez, and I might bet it. I might do that. Now, guys, moving into a matchup here between Ailin Perez taking on who we got, Darya Zheleznyakova. Now, Ailin Perez, as we know, this one's the Argentine twerker. You know what I'm saying? She wins the fights. She twerks in front of the camera. We all respect it, or most people respect it. And then we're looking for her to do that again. You know what I'm saying? That's Ailin Perez. Her grappling is very strong in round 1, in round 2. But the thing with Ailin Perez is she doesn't really use her energy well. If you're looking at her striking, it's very wild. Very, very wild. She's a wild girl. Ailin Perez, she's a wild girl. And you kind of see that inside the octagon. You see that in the performance of Ailin Perez. Now, round 1, like I say, round 2, it's good grappling. It's strong physical grappling. But then you're getting into, you know, the final round, and she kind of looks very tired. The striking's never been, you know, technically good, composed. It's more wildness. It's more physicality. And she nearly got subbed by Lucia Pudilova in round 3. So that kind of shows you that Ailin Perez, you know, she's good. She's very strong on the mat. But her cardio, you know what I'm saying? Her cardio kind of fades. And against someone like Darya Zheleznyakova, guys, I was very impressed with Darya Zheleznyakova in her UFC debut. Her jab, man. The boxing of Darya Zheleznyakova, it looked good. It looked very good. Now, her face did get busted up a little bit. You know, she's getting jabbed back. She's getting hit by Rendon, right? But I think Ailin Perez, like I say, her striking's more wild. And she kind of fades. So, guys, I kind of like the play, the prediction on the big plus 200 underdog. I like Darya Zheleznyakova. That's the pick. And guys, I did put money on Ailin Perez against Edwards. But Edwards, you know, her takedown defense is that of a newborn baby giraffe. You know what I'm saying? She cannot wrestle. Whereas Darya Zheleznyakova, to be honest, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if Darya can wrestle or not. But we're going to find out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to find out. And that plus 200, hey, why not? Give me Darya. Now moving into a matchup between Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. And sometimes when I break down Taylor Lapilus fights, people say, the way you say Taylor Lapilus is funny. And it kind of is, but yeah, listen, Taylor Lapilus, this guy's good. This guy's striking. The speed, the accuracy, the power. That's what you want, innit? That's what you want. You want to be quick, but you also want to maintain the technique. And at the same time, you want to be powerful when you do that. So you're looking to do all of that. And when you do all of that, now you've got a striker. Now you've got a guy that can cause damage. Now you've got a guy that can end the fight. And that's what you've got with Taylor Lapilus. You know, this guy's good. He's very quick, very fast, very powerful. He's got the experience. And he's looking good, fight to fight. And Vince Morales, you know, he had a nice run in the UFC. Wasn't too good in the UFC. But now he's fought his way back to the UFC. And now he's got to go all the way over to France to fight this killer, to fight this sniper. And it's a tough fight. It's a very tough fight for Vince Morales. What does he do to win this fight? Does he take Taylor Lapilus to the mat? Does he try to grapple? Does he try to, you know, do that and box? You know, Vince Morales, he's got good experience. But I don't really see him beating Taylor Lapilus with the jab. I don't see him beating Taylor Lapilus with the 1-2. I don't even see him being able to out-grapple Taylor Lapilus, to be honest with you. I just think Taylor's on a new level to Vince Morales, a different level. It's looking good for Taylor Lapilus, you know. I'd even say that his last opponent was potentially a better opponent than Vince Morales. Some people may disagree. But yeah, give me Taylor Lapilus. That's the pick all day. He's too quick. He's too powerful. He's on a new level, a different level to Vince Morales. That's the pick. Moving into a matchup here between Ludovit Klein taking on Roosevelt Roberts. And why we're doing this matchup? Why is this a matchup? Guys, look. Roosevelt Roberts, 12 wins, 4 losses. Ludovit Klein, 22 wins, 4 losses. So there's a massive experience difference. And you're seeing that in the betting line. You know what I'm saying? Ludovit Klein, minus 700. I don't know if the UFC think, like, Ludovit Klein's not that good and Roosevelt Roberts is better than what they think. I don't know. But this is a massive mismatch. It's a bad mismatch. So whoever's put this fight together, whoever runs the 155 division with the matchmaking, hey, you kind of smoked up. You know what I'm saying? You smoked a weird strain and you thought, you know, let's give Roosevelt Roberts Ludovit Klein. It's a mistake. It's a blunder. You know what I'm saying? And it would be a blunder. It would be a massive mistake if Ludovit Klein wasn't able to beat Roosevelt Roberts. That would be a massive blunder. Because Ludovit Klein, like I say, the experience, the head kick, the speed, it's all good. Then you're looking at Roosevelt Roberts, where the UFC career's not been too good. You know, he's getting head kicked by Bahamondes. He's getting, you know, beaten by Vince Pichel. And I did take Vince Pichel as a massive underdog, like quite a few years ago. But yeah, man, Roosevelt Roberts, the career's just not that good. In the UFC, at least. And Ludovit Klein, man, coming off a nice win against Thiago Moises. And his striking's just better. He's more composed. He's got more experience. How does he lose to Roosevelt? I can't see it. So yeah, give me Ludovit. Give me the big, massive minus 700. But no bet. Now moving into a matchup between Oumar Sy taking on Jung. So guys, Oumar Sy, 10 professional fights, 10 wins. 1 UFC fight, 1 win. Fairly untested though. At this stage, right? Fairly untested. More than likely though, he does get tested more and more. And probably this is the biggest test against Jung. And to be honest, the game plan of Oumar Sy should be the same as, what it was last fight. The game plan last fight was get the opponent to the mat, smash the opponent on the mat, and get the first UFC win. That was the game plan. Now the game plan here against Jung, it's exactly the same. Get the opponent to the mat, find a submission, find the ground and pound, find a stoppage in front of your own people. That's the game plan. Now, I think in his debut, he looked very good. But like I say, he's untested. He's not really had a war yet. He's not found an opponent that's really going to offer, resistance, right? He's not found that yet. But like I say, Jung, good UFC experience. Recently, though, he's been getting dusted. His boxing is decent. It's just, he finds himself in bad form. Dustin Jacoby, he set him down. Carlos Olberg, he set him down. And in my opinion, Oumar Sy, he probably gets a takedown into a beatdown. So that's the prediction. Give me Oumar Sy, the big favourite. That's, pretty untested. But yeah, I think Oumar Sy should just get a takedown, find a submission, find the ground and pound. And that's another win. You know what I'm saying? And that's more experience too. So potentially Jung, he does offer a little bit of resistance. But overall, it should be a win for Oumar Sy. So that's the pick. Now moving into a matchup between Ziam taking on Frevola. And guys, I'm going to tell you what makes Ziam a good UFC fighter. I'm also going to tell you what makes Ziam quite a beatable fighter. So the pros and cons. Then we're going to do the same thing with Frevola. So Ziam, in my opinion, Ziam, man, very fast. Very, very fast. You look at the speed. There's certainly no complaints with the speed, right? The low kick, super fast. You're looking at the jab. The jab can be delivered really fast too. I like the speed of Ziam. I also like the technique of Ziam. But there's things about Ziam that I don't like, right? Now, the things about Ziam that I don't like, it's almost like at times he's sparring. At times he's sparring, right? And when you're sparring, it's almost like you're playing with your food. You know what I'm saying? Now, there may be times where you're full. There may be times where you're full, right? You're 2 rounds up and you kind of want to coast. You're full. So you start to play with your food. But that's not really the case with Ziam. So the killer instinct of Ziam, it's maybe not there. And I also think his defensive wrestling is kind of dusty. You look at Claudio Perez, who isn't a phenomenal wrestler. He's more of a quality grappler. He was able to get easy takedowns on the Frenchman. It's almost like the Frenchman, there's not enough resistance with the takedown defense. So the pros and cons of Ziam, there's pros, there's cons, right? There's the same thing with every fighter. Now with the steamroller, Frevola, I think we can all agree he's very aggressive. There's no filling out process, right? There's no respect for the opposition. He kind of fights at a very high pace. He's looking to steamroll the opponent. And McKinney did do that to Ziam. If Frevola can just get a takedown early in the fight, he might stop Ziam similar to Terence McKinney. But then we have to mention how defensively bad Frevola really is. You're looking at the pace that he's fighting at. Now, guys, this may be down to the fact that he's fighting at such a high pace, right? He's unable to see the strikes in a high-paced fight. The pace he's competing at, it's kind of backfiring. The defense isn't on point, right? The pace is so fast. For example, guys, if I play chess with a 1-minute timer, there's no way that I'm seeing everything that I need to see, right? Because the pace of the game is going to be too fast. I'm not going to see things that I need to see. Now, if you give me a 10-minute timer, which, for some people, that's too much time. But for me, a 10-minute timer, hey, we're playing good chess. We're playing at a nice level. You know what I'm saying? The skill's going to be good. Now, with Frevola, the pace is so high, right? He likes this pace. But at times, it's backfiring. You're not seeing what you need to see. I mean, even against McKinney again, we're bringing McKinney into this breakdown for the second time. McKinney drops him at the start of the fight. The fight starts and it's just over. It's almost like, Frevola, the steamroller. You know what I'm saying? This guy wants to press the action. And it's almost like at times, it's backfiring. Now, having said all of that, I do think the bookies got it right. -110 each side. Because if you're Matt Frevola, if you get a takedown against Ziam, does Ziam get back to the feet? Probably not. So there's potential for Frevola to just, you know, dust him up on the mat. Just take him to the mat, dust him up. Pure domination. There's potential for that. There's also potential for our Ziam to land the jab, to land the kicks, to make Matt Frevola seem, you know, defensively bad, that he has looked multiple times. So there's potential for both guys to win the fight. There's potential. My prediction, I'm going to side with Ziam. I'm going to side with Ziam. That's the pick. Now, guys, moving into a matchup here between Morgan Charriere taking on Gabriel Miranda. Now, guys, Morgan Charriere, the last pirate. Listen, guys, Morgan Charriere, he's very decent. He's very good. His record may not suggest that, but I'm not one of these breakdown artists that's going to read like numbers off a screen. This guy's got a 57% takedown defense. This guy throws this amount of strikes per this, and I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. Listen, I recently put money on Daniel Dubois, plus 400. Guys, I use my eyes. I ain't the stat man. This ain't basketball, G. This ain't American flag throwball, G. This is real stuff. This is combat. You know what I'm saying? Take your stat book and throw it in the bin. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Morgan Charriere, this guy's grappling is good. His wrestling is good. He's able to compete in the stand-up. He's extremely tough. He's fast. He's experienced. He's a fighter that I believe in, to be honest. You know, and that's just watching his fights. That's using my eyes and watching Morgan Charriere. I don't care what the stats say. I don't care what his record says. I don't care about any of that. I'm using my eyes. I'm looking at Morgan Charriere and I'm impressed, man. I'm very impressed. I took him against Chepe Mariscal, and that fight was very, very close. Very close. Now, some people may say that Morgan Charriere actually won that fight, but I disagree. Again, I'm using my eyes, I'm watching the fight, and that was a 29-28 to Chepe Mariscal. A very close fight, but again, it shows that Morgan Charriere, he's very tough, he's very experienced, you know, he's very close to winning that fight. And Gabriel Miranda, this guy's more about jiu-jitsu. He's looking to take your back, wrap you up like a blunt, and that's fight done. Now, that's a fair game plan for his skill set, but unfortunately, that game plan shouldn't be enough to defeat Morgan Charriere. So give me Morgan Charriere to find a stoppage in round 2 after, you know, Miranda's got tired, failed with his takedowns, or maybe gets a takedown, but isn't able to convert. You know, finds the back, finds the backpack, but isn't able to finish a choke. And if you don't convert from that position, your legs are tired. Your legs are so tired. And that kind of plays into Morgan Charriere finding a stoppage into round 2. So if Miranda does get a takedown, but doesn't find a stoppage, then get ready for the stoppage with Morgan Charriere. You know what I'm saying? And that is the pick. That is the pick. Give me the last pirate, Morgan Charriere, the big favourite. Obviously, you know, the money line, you can't bet that. It's like minus 900. But yeah, that's the pick. Moving into a matchup between Kevin Jousset taking on Brian Battle. And guys, listen, if you missed this fight here, then you may as well just turn off the TV. You know what I'm saying? Miss the rest of the fights. If you're going to miss this fight here, this ain't boxing. You know what I'm saying? You don't show up to the main event when it comes to UFC. You want to see a fight between Kevin Jousset and Brian Battle, because both these guys here have phenomenal potential to become real stars in the promotion. You know, I'm going to make the claim here that Brian Battle, he is improving. He's improved a lot, to be honest. I mean, look at Brian Battle in his first 2 UFC fights. Then go and look at Brian Battle against Angelosa. That's not the same guy. That's not the same guy. Brian Battle looked insanely good in that last fight. His physique was proper. His speed, his power, his willingness to let Losa know he is the man. Even after the fight's done, he's still letting Losa know, this is my octagon. I belong here. This is my octagon. So yeah, man, Brian Battle certainly getting better, certainly improving. However, let's not act like Kevin Jousset is in the same pond as Angelosa. Let's not act like that. Now, some of you may not know about Kevin Jousset, but the guy's a real talent. He's a real talent, and his potential is there. You know, another fighter from CKB, and we don't need to speak about CKB. You guys already know. You know, that camp there, City Kickboxing, is phenomenal. Now, there is one issue with Kevin Jousset, and again, I don't allow the stats to tell me this issue. I can see this issue with my eyes, right? The stats, throw the stat book in the bin. Use your eyes. Now, guys, when you look at Kevin Jousset, Notice how he stands really tall with his chin in the sky. Look at his fights. You're going to see that. He stands really tall and his chin's in the sky. You know, look at his fight against Kenan Song. There was moments in that fight where he's getting hit with some big punches. Now, guys, you and I both know, at this level, you can't be standing that tall. You can't stand that tall with the chin untucked. You know, it's a dangerous game to play. And it's dangerous because at some point, somebody is going to expose that in the game of Kevin Jousset. Now, the question is this. Will Bryan Battle be the one to expose that in the game of Kevin Jousset? Is Bryan Battle going to be the one to do that? Now, Bryan Battle, he had a beautiful head kick against Sato. He has been improving a lot over the last 2 years. The experience bar is going up over the last 2 years. Good experience, good improvements. Phenomenal performance against Angelosa. So can Bryan Battle be the one to expose that in the game of Kevin Jousset? Potentially, but also Kevin Jousset offensively, he's so technical. And I kind of think that Bryan Battle is going to respect Jousset. You know, going over to France, I think he's going to respect him a little bit too much. And that's not what you want to do, right? He didn't respect Angelosa, so maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe he doesn't go over and respect Jousset. Maybe he goes over there and teaches him a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Shows him that, you know, you're standing too tall, your chin's not tucked, and I'm going to come over to France, you know, have a nice little vacation and give you a striking lesson. Maybe he does that, but I'm going to take the underdog. I'm going to take Kevin Jousset. I think Bryan Battle potentially respects him too much. Maybe. But we're going to see. Give me the underdog. Give me Kevin Jousset. Now, guys, moving into a matchup here between Joanderson Brito taking on William Gomis. And this is actually very nice matchmaking. Very decent matchmaking. Now, Brito is obviously the rightful favourite, obviously. But I mentioned on my last UFC card with Yasmin Haragi against, what was her name? Ketlin Souza. I mentioned that Yasmin Haragi should be a favourite, but not that much of a favourite. And I kind of feel the same way here. Brito, he's very aggressive. He goes 0 to 100, right? Now, what happens with that tactic? If you go 0 to 100 in a fight, make sure you get a stoppage. Or make sure you have insane cardio. Because if you don't get a stoppage and you don't have insane cardio, there's an old saying, fatigue will make a coward out of anyone. And that's the biggest fear in a fight, right? The biggest fear in a fight isn't, you know, what if I go to sleep? That's not like the biggest fear. The biggest fear is, what if I get tired? What if I get tired first? Because that leads to getting knocked out. That leads to the opponent quitting or you quitting. You know, you don't want to smoke anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you're tired. You start to quit. You start to think, I can't take these shots to the body. And you easily quit because you're tired. Now, William Gomis doesn't use the same approach. William Gomis is using more footwork. He's using more speed. He's able to throw the kicks at the target, then instantly get back to moving. So attack the target and start to move again. The opponent, you know, becomes frustrated with the range, the speed, the footwork. I believe that William Gomis is potentially playing the striking game at a higher level than Joanderson Brito, where Brito is more, you know, the physical powerhouse. He's looking to bully the opponent. Now, I'm going to side with the big underdog. I'm going to side with the technicality over brutality, especially at these odds. Right? If Brito gets tired first, going 0 to 100, the plus 250, it's going to look good, man. It's going to look very good. But then again, Brito, he could get William Gomis to the mat. You know, look to exploit the ground game of William Gomis, maybe. But if it stays on the feet and Joanderson Brito goes 0 to 100, William Gomis, man, he's like a light version of Cyril Gane. You know, Cyril Gane's moving the feet, very agile, very quick, fires the kicks, gets back to moving. You know, he's playing the striking game on a high level. And so does William Gomis. So I'm gonna side with the big underdog. And I've got a few bets at the moment. I think I've got 2 bets, 3 bets. And I might add this. to the lineup at plus 250. Yeah, I'm gonna side with William Gomis. I might add it to my lineup. I might do that. Now, moving into the co-main event, an excellent co-main event. We've got the French sniper, Nassourdine Imavov, versus someone that's on a real win streak here in Brendan Allen. And guys, I'd say that, you know, Brendan Allen wearing a dead animal hat every fight week, that may be a reason as to why he continues to win fights, right? That dead animal hat, it makes the dude a problem. But then again, both of these guys are problems. They have different styles though, right? Different styles. And the co-main event's going to be decided based on, who can impose their will. Who's able to, impose their style onto the opponent. Who's able to score against the opponent. Now with Nassourdine Imavov, you won't find a breakdown on my channel where I've picked against Nassourdine. You won't find it. And that's because his striking is it's so nice. It's so fast. He's so light. He's playing the striking game in a way that I really enjoy. I'm watching Nassourdine fight and his striking is I like it, man. I really like it. Now, his physicality, it could probably be better, but if you add some muscle to the frame of Nassourdine, you probably hinder the speed. You probably make him a little bit slower. And he's also coming off a nice win recently against Jared Cannonier. I backed him in that fight with some nice money. And, in that fight, he got better as the fight progressed, which isn't something that I really expected. But maybe in hindsight, it was obvious because Nassourdine, he's getting better, whereas Jared Cannonier is like 40 years old. But from previous performances, like against Sean Strickland, Nassourdine slowed down as that fight progressed. But then again, Sean Strickland, he'll use that jab. He'll stay in that jab range. He'll stay in the pocket. Whereas when you look at Brendan on the feet, I think there's more mistakes being made. In the stand-up, his teep kick is very nice. His teep kick's good. But there's times where he's too hittable. Like against Chris Curtis, he was so hittable. And his chin is kind of dusty. It's kind of dusty. But guys, if you're Brendan Allen, you're on a 7-fight win streak. You've got a massive opportunity, a massive co-main event in France. What's the game plan? The game plan shouldn't be, I'm going to go strike with Nassourdine Imavov. I'm going to go test the sniper's striking skill set. That's not the game plan. If you're Brendan Allen, you make this more about jiu-jitsu. You make this more about, I'm going over to France. I'm on a 7-fight win streak. A big main event win against Chris Curtis. A rematch, right? I'm going over to France and I'm going to show Nassourdine Imavov what Brazilian jiu-jitsu is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put on a grappling masterclass. Take the back. Take the neck. Wrap him up like a blunt. That's what I'm trying to do. But at times, Brendan Allen, the IQ, the fight IQ, is kind of questionable. He'll get hit on the feet. And now I'm trying to grapple. Now I'm trying to get the opponent to the mat. And that's not really good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like in chess. In chess, you shouldn't have to wait for the opponent to make a mistake. If you're hoping to win based on, I hope the opponent isn't good, that's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And the same with, high-level mixed martial arts at the highest level. You don't have to go to this fight and try to, see if Nassourdine's going to make a mistake. You're going there to impose your will. Take the back of Nassourdine, get him to the mat round 1 and take the win. If it's not that, if you're trying to stay on the feet with Nassourdine, then, you know what I'm saying, your win streak's going to be done. Your win streak is dust. And I think that's the case. I do think that's the case. I think Nassourdine Imavov, like I say, on my channel, you won't find a prediction where I've picked against Nassourdine. And that's because his speed, his stand-up, it's all so good. And against someone like Brendan, who's not going to be in jab range, he's not going to be in the pocket, constantly staying in the pocket like Sean Strickland, because he hasn't got the jab, he hasn't got the skill set, he hasn't got the boxing defense to do that. Against someone like Brendan, if you stay on the feet, if you're Nassourdine, it should be a win. It should be a win. So give me the Frenchman. Give me Nassourdine Imavov. Now, guys, moving into the main event. A phenomenal main event between Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, let's start by saying Moicano wants money. And Moicano's been getting money. You know what I'm saying? He beat Drew Dober. He beat Jalen Turner. However, he was close to getting dusted in both of those fights. So the toughness of Moicano is there. He's certainly able to get rocked and recover. But defensively speaking, he's never been good. If you want to land your best punch against someone like Renato Moicano, it's almost like he wants you to do that. It's almost like he enjoys getting cracked by the opponent. So the defense is an area that needs improvements. But at this stage in Renato Moicano's career, he's not going to be making, defensive improvements. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know what I'm saying? Now, Benoit Saint-Denis, extremely aggressive, 0 to 100. I explained earlier in the William Gomis breakdown, when you go 0 to 100 and you don't get a stoppage, now the cardio turns to dust, which results in the fighter also turning to dust. So looking at this fight, the first question I'm asking myself is this. Can Moicano survive 10 minutes? If the answer is yes, and Moicano survives 10 minutes, then get ready with your in-play. You know what I'm saying? Get ready with the big in-play bet on Renato Moicano. You know, he's going to get beat up for 7 minutes. However, he survives and turns the tables. You know what I'm saying? That should be the game plan of Renato Moicano. And also the game plan of a UFC gambler, right? If you want to put money on Moicano, you don't do it pre-fight, because he's going to get beat up. You know, round 1, it's going to be a storm, a French storm for Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, can Moicano survive those first 2 rounds? Because, like I say, if the answer is yes, then get ready. You know what I'm saying? Get ready. However, guys, there's also a chance that Moicano doesn't survive round 1. There's also a chance he doesn't survive round 2. There's a chance that Benoit Saint-Denis literally destroys Renato Moicano, you know, early in round 1, early in round 2. That's certainly a possibility. You know, he got the back of Dustin Poirier. Not that Dustin Poirier has good defensive wrestling. I know some people think he does, but at this stage in his career, his defensive wrestling is kind of dusty. But guys, very early in round 1 against Dustin Poirier, very close to stopping the fight. Now, obviously, Moicano doesn't have the same counter boxing as Dustin Poirier. So if Benoit Saint-Denis gets tired the same way he did against Dustin Poirier is there to, you know, counter. He's there to punish the opponent. And he did. But guys, with Moicano, he's not got the same boxing as Dustin Poirier. So if Benoit Saint-Denis gets tired, you know, if you're Moicano, you're looking to use your black belt. You're looking to use the grappling, the jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You're looking at a submission, potentially, for Moicano. However, like I've mentioned, round 1, round 2, that's the storm. That's the French storm. Benoit Saint-Denis is an absolute mauler in round 1. He's got some nasty ground and pound. You know, walk forward, 0 to 100. He's so aggressive. And with that aggression, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy being used. So that's why I'm asking you guys, does Moicano survive 10 minutes? Because if the answer is yes, if you're saying, look, Moicano's got a lot of experience, he's very tough, he nearly got stopped by Drew Dober, he stayed in there. He nearly got stopped by Jalen Turner, he stayed in there. If you think Moicano has the experience and the toughness, which he does, he actually does. But that's, you know, come fight night, the experience may not count. If you get cracked on the jaw and you start seeing, you know, 4 Benoit Saint-Denis and there's only 1 in there, I'm seeing 4, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough. Defensively, Moicano's not good, but he's tough. So if he can stay there for 10 minutes, then maybe. Guys, I see Benoit Saint-Denis destroying Moicano. Round 1, round 2, on the mat. I think it's a French main event. I really do. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis. As always, guys, drop down your main event, your co-main event, all your predictions, your parlays, your Money City bets, all that good stuff. Drop in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky and never glued to your shoes. Peace.